All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to group advising for spring of 2022. 2022, excuse me. We are going to go ahead and get started. Whenever I start a presentation, I like to give a land acknowledgement. We are lucky to be the University of Wisconsin Parkside on the Potawatomi Peoples land. So acknowledging that we have the privilege to earn our education on the land from our native friends. I am Hillary, so I know there are a few newer people here in the program. Group advising is a session where I will go over program updates, reminders, tips and tricks on how to navigate the program, as well as just get a chance to share anything in a group-wide area. I am the academic for nursing, so I work with all pre-nursing students all the way through the professional major. I do have two email addresses. I have vara@uwp.edu, which I do check, as well as hmvara@uwm. So with that being said, I do prefer my Milwaukee email, but I do check both. And the way you make an appointment with me is through the Navigate Student app. So everyone should have that downloaded. And I will ask you guys to pull that up in today's session. I am in office Monday through Wednesday, and I am virtual Thursday and Friday, as I do go up to UWM, and I do have some flexibility within my schedule. If you know me, and you know I love my kiddos, I have three. They are my fur babies, Lucy, Ruby, and Brody. The middle one is been my childhood dog, so she's 14 this year. So she's one of the best. I will ask you to see pictures of your kiddos yourself, or siblings, if they're your parents' puppers, but I do love my animals. I also have two cats and a turtle. They're all adoptions from the Wisconsin Humane Society. And Franklin the turtle is actually an adoption, a foster fail. So I was fostering him, and then I had my fiance adopt him because I loved him so much. He's very cool. So to kind of go over what we're going to go over today is just some housekeeping items, some of the expectations, talk about the program. I know for some of you this is a recap, but I do ask that you still, listen in. Mostly because the information does hit you different as you progress through this program. So I might say something that I've said before, but it didn't catch your attention the way it does now. So just kind of pay attention to that. And then there is a student panel. I do have one student who agreed to come on at about 12:30, which I will leave this session and allow you guys to ask her any questions about the program. She's a senior and her name is Jessie Pringle. So this is a little bit more targeted towards everyone when I'm in person. However, take a look at who's on the call. You guys may be in the same cohort. You guys become very close. Parkside is that close-knit, small campus community. So it's one of the huge benefits of our program. I will be out of the office March 1st through the 14th. I say that early, and I say that so if you want to make a meeting with me beforehand, please do. If you want to meet with me when I come back, please do. But I will not have any access to my email at this time. You guys will be fine. But if you do have something you want to talk about or something on your mind, please don't hesitate to connect with me before I go or make that appointment for right when I come back. This is an important slide. I encourage all of you to screenshot it, take a picture of it. You can find this information on the registrar's website as well. But what I really like is that it talks about when spring break is. Around that time, students, I get a lot of emails. You can self-sufficiently find this information. Summer registration begins March 14th. So if you are planning on taking summer classes, I encourage you to make a meeting with me before I leave or right when I come back, as we can get you enrolled in summer classes. Additionally, if you're planning vacations or going somewhere on spring break, keep these dates in mind. If you are taking summer classes, depending on what session and what class you're taking, they start May 23rd, so that's the week right after graduation. And then the fall semester, I always like to plan ahead, as I know many of you do too. It starts September 7th. So plan your trips accordingly. Make sure to get accommodations with professors if that is something you are doing. And then lastly, on this slide is the drop deadline. So Parkside is very generous with this. If you apply to the professional major and chemistry 215, for example, isn't going swell, and you kind of are on this basis of, oh man, am I going to get a C minus, or if I get a C, my GPA is going to fall below a 2.75, you lose your spot. So if you do find yourself in that stickier situation, come talk to me. Let's figure it out together. I don't recommend just dropping without talking to me. I highly encourage you guys to talk to me so we can create a plan. For instance, Chemistry 215 is not offered at Parkside in the summer. So where else are you going to take it? Well, you could take it at CLC or MATC because Gateway is not an option. This is some of that knowledge that I know and I've learned as I've been in this role, and I want to help you and share that with you, customizing it to your needs. So make sure to pay attention to these deadlines. You have until April 29th to drop a class. Again, that's very generous. If you apply to the professional major, find out you get accepted next month. If you don't pass all of your classes or if your GPA goes below a 2.75, you do lose your spot. So this is something to be cognitive of. All right, if you guys can pull out your Navigate Student app, I do not have access to view this app in the student format, but what I do know is right over here where you have all these little icons, to do, appointments, study buddies, there's going to be a new little toggle that's called appointment summaries. And if you recall, after our meeting, I typically will email you your pre-nursing worksheet, plan a study, and kind of just give you a little recap or encouragement or whatever we talked about. I'm not going to be sending those emails anymore. They're going to be put right into Navigate, and you're going to be able to pull them up under your student appointment summaries. So if you have any questions with that, if it's not working for you, definitely check out that tech bar and also let me know as well. This is just my courtesy reminder that you guys are students. You hold a really cool benefit having a UW system email where you can get Amazon Prime for $50 for the year or $59, something like that. If you're not on unit days, definitely download that app because that app is full of different types of discounts you're able to get. So if you shop at Express, I know they're on there. A ton of other stores as well. Auto insurance, when I was a student and I had American Family Insurance, as long as I submitted a copy of my transcript, I was able to get a percentage off my insurance for being a good student. So definitely check out that. Also with your cell phone bill. There's a lot of ways to save money being a student. So definitely do some homework, do some research, and never have shame asking if a store if they have a college student discount. Make sure to get your campus ID. The campus IDs can be picked up from the campus concierge desk in the student center. So make sure to do that for your $5 movie Tuesdays or whatever. But there's a lot of promotions out there for students to get money off. Make sure you have each and all of these apps downloaded to your computer, to your phone. Navigate, Teams, Outlook, and Duo. Ever you're having Duo issues, you go to the campus technology services. Outlook, having your email on your phone is fantastic. And Teams, that's how we will do virtual meetings. So our meeting slots are only 30 minutes. When I'm in what we call peak advising, that's when I'm usually scheduled pretty back to back to back, and I have to hold true to our 30-minute appointment slots. So with that being said, make sure you have Teams downloaded so you're ready to go. And then also Navigate. That's how you have access to my calendar as well as our appointment summaries. If you haven't already and have a Facebook, please feel free to add me. I'm kind of cool, but I do post additional things on there, volunteer opportunities, things that cross my desk that I don't just want to email. I really try to reserve emailing you guys for only really important things. So anything additional, I do push forward and avoid an email. And then last but not least, make sure my name is listed here in Solar. If it's not listed for you in Solar there, definitely talk to me because then you're not getting my communication and I'd hate for you to miss out on anything. What is a nurse to you? As you progress through this program, some things that you really want to focus on are the nursing core values. For those of you who applied to the professional major and is going through the interview process this week and the essay last Saturday, these are really important to think about, be knowledgeable about, and then start doing things that you can provide examples. So how have you shown integrity? How do you practice and showcase diversity? These are all things that will help you once you go to applying in through the professional program. So start thinking like a nurse now. Every semester, I want to meet with you. Once you enter the professional major, we can usually, unless you want to meet, we can, it's a little bit more optional there, but as you're in pre-nursing, I want to be checking your grades with you, make sure that we're adjusting your plan of study accordingly and so on. So make a meeting with me, attend group advising, which you all are here, which is fantastic, and then also have me check your shopping cart. I do remove the hold for advising as well. So that's the only hold I have options to remove. So if you have a past due hold, an athletic hold, I cannot do that for you. Only the advising hold. Everyone's declared as pre-nursing. There's no longer DARS. That might be a new update for some of you. We now use AAR, which is an academic advising report feature. So if you have a Parkside minor or a Parkside certificate, that AAR report will be very important for you to acknowledge. And if that is you, talk about it with me in our next meeting. But otherwise, if you're plain old nursing, the AAR isn't a huge deal, as I do use your pre-nursing worksheets, which we'll go over in a little bit. Pre-nursing is gearing you up for that professional major. We are here to ensure that you are doing things that are going to benefit you. We want to know, what else are you doing on your nursing journey versus the pre-nursing coursework. So if you are interested, get your CNA. It is not required for our program, but it is a very good benefit. Volunteer. Again, when it comes to volunteering, we're not looking at, oh, I donated blood once this summer. That's great. However, what are you doing on that consistent basis? What are you doing on that consistent level? Are you ensuring that you're calling your senior citizens on that weekly basis? That's what we were really looking at, and that's what's really strong. Starting to job shadow. I know with COVID, that's kind of been a wrench in the toolbox. However, things are kind of simmering down, especially with the Wisconsin COVID numbers declining. So see if there's any job shadowing opportunities. Talk to your family, talk to your friends. That's a really good opportunity. And then seek out student leadership opportunities. See if there's any opportunities at work you can grow into. This timeline, most of you may have seen before. I do show this in orientation as well, but it's a wonderful way to kind of explain our program in a visual. So, you all are basically here in this, pre-nursing range, which is going to be 1 to 3 years, depending if you're on a 4-year plan or a 5-year plan. So for those of you students who have applied so far, you're kind of sitting right here. Your campus interviews are this week. Last week you did the essay. And by March, you'll find out if you were accepted. At that point, all pre-nursing coursework must be completed by the time you would start the professional major. And that professional major is a solid 2 years. So that's your next 2 years of school. With that being said, you then graduate from UW-Milwaukee. So again, this is another phrase you're going to hear me say a lot. When you graduate and when you're applying for your jobs and when they ask you, hey, I need an official college transcript, you do not order that from Parkside. You order it from UW-Milwaukee because your degree came from UW-Milwaukee. So you get to walk in your graduation, and then after that, you sign up and take the NCLEX, which I'll walk you through that whole licensure process when it's your time, but I do guide you through this, and then you pass your NCLEX and become the best RN with your BSN ever. To kind of talk about that professional major a little bit, we accept 40 students each fall. And Parkside is a full-time only program. So let's say, life took a few turns, you wanted to drop down to part-time. We can accommodate that on a not on a guaranteed basis, but a space provided basis. So if there's room up at UWM for part-time, we can definitely adjust that for you. As well as clinical sites, we try to keep you in our neck of the woods. So the furthest we try to strive for is South Milwaukee, Kenosha, Racine, Union Grove, Caledonia. We try to keep you in our neck of the woods. However, if you really want to work with children, there's only one Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, which is in Wauwatosa, which is in Milwaukee. So there's a little give and take here, but we do strive to keep you in our neck of the woods, which is beneficial. And admission is competitive and not guaranteed. You heard me say that before. I don't say that to scare you. I say that so we can, have that continuing conversation of what is your plan B? How are we going to move forward if our plan A doesn't work out? So to kind of break down that nursing professional major, each semester you'll have a clinical, and that clinical is based as you progress. So your first clinical is called Foundations, and that's going to be the basics, the washing hands, learning how to chart, moving patients. Then as you progress, you're going to go into your next clinical, which is Nursing 422. And that is where you're going to be more of a med-surg unit. You're going to learn how to do IVs, give vaccines, give shots, things of that nature. Then your third clinical is going to be more population health based. A fun fact is a lot of nurses who have their BSN don't always work in a hospital. They work in a lot of other places, whether that's for a health department, for the state, for the county. There's a lot of things that RNs are needed for, even in education. All of your professors and faculty are RNs, and some are still practicing, and some have gone solely to teaching. So there's a lot of opportunities in that semester. You'll learn about some of those opportunities. And then last but not least, you'll see that this last clinical, Nursing 478, which is 6 credits, is going to be 2 days a week. So a little bit more credit weight there. And we really strive, given with COVID, it's been a little hard being super transparent, but we really strive to get you connected with a clinical site that excites you, whether that be women's health, behavioral, surgical. We really work it there. So by now, I'm hoping all of you have this Getting Started guide printed out, saved on your computer, easy access. And not to beat a dead horse, but we're going to go over it one more time because it is a very important component to understanding our program. So you need to have a C or better in Math 111 or Math 104, as well as in your English. All of these pre-nursing courses are required to be completed by the time you start the professional major. So let's say that you applied and you need to take sociology over the summer. And if you don't take that sociology class, even though you were accepted, you will lose your spot. So make sure that we are following our plan of studies. If we adjust it, talk to me, we'll figure it out. The minimum GPAs for our program are a 2.75 for nursing and a 2.75 for science. And you need a C or better in all classes. If you earn a C- or lower, that means you failed the course and will have to repeat it. There's 2 caveats to this repeat policy. You can only repeat each class 1 time, and you can only repeat a total of 2 classes. Everyone, this is the plan of study, and each and every nursing student has a copy of this. There's a few things that I like to point out on this. If ever you need your solar ID, I put them at the top for you. So that's a kind of a nice hack to go ahead and get that figured out. Additionally, you know when you're applying to the professional major as well. So with that being said, if you don't know when, you know when you look at your plan of study, as well as having all of your classes completed by the end of application time, as that is how we measure your GPA. This next semester, we are just making sure you maintain the 2.75. If there's any questions at all during this presentation, please make sure to enter them in the chat, and I'm more than happy to kind of pause and answer them. I know with the virtual setting, it can be a little hard. It also will go over into detail about your anticipated graduation and any GERs that you still need to complete. With the pre-nursing worksheet, there's a few handy tips on here as well. So when you have this column right here, it talks about the prerequisites. So you can't get into chemistry without getting into math first and successfully completing math. Also, when the courses are offered, this is something that I've mentally memorized for you guys. So when I create your plan of studies, I automatically put them in. But with that being said, if you do adjust, make sure to reference this again and know that micro is only offered in fall or summer. So if you don't plan to take it then, where else are you going to take it? At a technical college? Are you going to extend your plan out, adjust your plan? So those are things to think about. So as far as GPAs go, all of the classes here on this pre-nursing inside this purple box make up your nursing GPA. And then those 7 science classes is what makes up your science GPA. And again, you need a C or better. If you're earning a C-, that means it's a repeat. I always strive and always push you guys to get a B or better. The reason being, a solid B is a 3.0. And competitive GPA is going to be a 3.3 or higher. So if you're aiming and getting a solid B, that's a great place to be. If you are getting C's, well, that tells me a couple things. 1, you're not retaining the material as well as you could be. And 2, that's sometimes an indicator that you may struggle in the professional major. So it's very important for all of the pre-nursing classes, aim for that B or better. But all you do need is a C. If your GPA can handle the C's, that's okay. I always will talk about a plan B because my philosophy is it is way easier to talk about a plan B before you actually need a plan B. So these are a few other boxes on your handouts that I have. For some of my older students, I did not revamp these on yours, but for anyone who has recently started within the last year and a half, you should have these boxes on your pre-nursing worksheet and plan of study. And this is something that we'll just check in with when we meet. All of you should have seen this application rubric as well, but I like being very transparent and open with you guys. What's really cool is our nursing program gives you this information. Not to toot our own horn, but I think it's really nice to know and kind of evaluate where you think you're going to lie. So if you are, a little bit more with this meeting standards of the GPA, what are you going to do to make sure that you're exceeding standards in this section? Ensuring that you have good volunteering experience, consistent work experience, healthcare experience. This is all very beneficial stuff. I still am getting a lot of questions about GERs. So when on your plan of study, if I put GER HU, that's a GER Humanities. SS Elective, GER Art, these are my little abbreviations for you, meaning you go ahead and pick a class from the corresponding box. The reason the history classes are a little bit more selective is because I like to help you guys out and avoid having to take another class. So instead of taking 2 humanities and a history, if we take one of these humanity history classes, we can avoid a whole class for you. So I think that's a sweet hack. Versus if you take, history 101 or 102, you're going to need 2 humanities. So that's something just to think about going forward, and make sure to only pick classes off of this box, off of this whole worksheet, because these work with UW-Milwaukee. I know if you have friends at Parkside, they are going to have a 3-section type of sheet that has a whole bunch of options for general education courses. Sadly, we don't have that many options as our degree is coming from UWM. So to give a little bit of a light recap, nursing is competitive, nursing is rigorous, and admission isn't always guaranteed. On average, we have 50 to 60 students applying each year. This year, we had a little bit closer to that 50 range, which is a good thing for those who applied. We only have a fall admission at Parkside, and the application is holistic, meaning half of it is grades and the other half is what else are you doing on your nursing journey. And a CNA is not required for a class, but it is not a bad thing to have. However, after the first semester of the professional major, you can sit and take your CNA exam. You just have to take the written portion of the exam, as the theory courses and the clinical practice cover the actual course itself. So that is something to think about. If you are interested in getting your CNA, I get asked a lot, what's a good program? Can you direct me into this direction? I 10 out of 10 recommend the technical colleges. I'm a huge fan of CLC, which is College of Lake County, Gateway Technical College, and MATC, which is Milwaukee Area Technical College. You're going to pay roughly $500 for the course, but at the end of it, you do get your CNA. There are a lot of other options out there, but they are typically priced a little bit higher. Volunteering, again, we don't look at that minimum hour expectation, but we want to make sure that you're doing it. So doing something consistent is beneficial. If you have concerns with this, bring this up in our meeting and we can find different opportunities for you. Also, SNAP is a great resource. They do a lot of volunteering opportunities. They also are hiring. We'll have elections for 2 board member positions, which is awesome. And you're able to really kind of spearhead something and have that student leadership experience. If you have any questions about joining SNAP or maybe didn't make the last meeting, definitely copy down that email for Jocelyn Santos and reach out to her. They have a Facebook page and they also have a Teams group as well. So if ever you miss a meeting, you can get the information that way. This is also a wonderful screen to take a picture of quickly. This is the spring meetings for SNAP, so they already are scheduled out. They are going to be in Talent Hall. If there are any adjustments to the schedule, you will find out via Teams or through the Facebook channel. I may share it on my Facebook as well, but since this is student-led, I really try to let the students do it. Some tips while tracking your volunteer experience is have a notebook and write down all of this information that is on this slide, because it's really going to help you fill out your application later. It's also very helpful to have to read before your interviews. We want to know what you're doing on your nursing journey. So what other things other than the academic world are you doing to get exposure, gain experience, network within the community? So definitely write down dates, write down times of your volunteerism, because it will make things easier later. And it's also a good thing to have whenever you're applying for an interview, whether it's for a CNA job or a nursing internship. When you're in the professional major, though, we do at that point expect you to get your CNA after that first semester and work as a CNA. I can tell you right now, a lot of my students have nursing internships, which is not only wonderful for them to gain a little bit more privileges than a basic CNA, but they're being mentored by the RNs that they are working with. They're getting paid, and they are honestly setting their footwork for getting a job offer at the end of their graduation and passing of the NCLEX. A lot of nurses too, a lot of hospitals, I should say, there's a temporary license. So if you are in a nursing internship position, there is a $10 Wisconsin temporary license. And again, I'll talk with you way more about that when it's your time to shine your senior year. But that is another cool benefit that working as a CNA can get you. There's a few upcoming events. I'm going to try to skip through these, but definitely screenshot these, take a picture of these if you're at all interested. I always encourage this because attending these events, you're learning from people in your field, people outside your field. It gives you different perspectives, which is all wonderful professional development for interviewing, networking, and gives you that critical thinking. So every Wednesday, there's a virtual UW System career track. So they talk about resumes, job searching, and preparing students for interviews. This is another really good opportunity. You're going to kind of learn about what recruiters do. There's a lot of recruiting positions for hospitals. When you go to a job fair or even to the career fair here on campus, those are recruiters behind that desk, and they want to get nurses, they want to get CNAs, medical assistants, phlebotomists, all of these positions we need. I recommend this for anyone who's looking for a job right now, and especially for my upper level students. But this is going to be a really great job fair to attend. It's very big, 130 employers. There's nothing to stub your nose at. So definitely think about it, and it is very convenient. It is fully virtual. Career Prep Week. So this is going to be the week before the official summer job fair. But getting your resume checked and ready to go is vital. It is something that these advisors are trained to do. You can drop right into the Commons, which is that wonderful new area in Wiley Hall, and get your resume looked at. I really recommend this. Make sure you're showcasing yourself in the best potential. And also, everything that you're doing is included. This is the Summer Employment Fair. So March 9th, 3 to 6 p.m. I was lucky enough to attend this when I was a student here, and I got a wonderful opportunity working for WEAP, which is also known as Wisconsin's Early Autism Project. It was a great job. It definitely enlightened me. And to be honest with you, it didn't go in the way that I wish it would have, but I'm very grateful for the experience because it was something I learned that I didn't want to do. So definitely put yourself out there. And explore some of the opportunities. Working in a summer camp, working with children, all of that looks really wonderful on the nursing applications. All right, if you really haven't listened to anything I just said, I want you to listen now and get focused to your screen now, because March 29th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Froedtert Hospital is coming here to campus. I really encourage you to come, talk to them, ask them questions about what it's like to be interviewed by them. This is your time to really kind of get those questions answered. Sometimes I get emailed questions, but I'm not nurse. I'm not necessarily in the healthcare field. I'm more in the education field. So this is your time to shine. Ask these recruiters anything. What types of questions, what types of things can I be doing now to be a great candidate for this role? Write this date down. I'm also meeting with Freighter this day, so this is an exciting day for our nursing students. Here's another internship and career fair coming up April 13th, 3 to 7 p.m. at Carthage College. What's really cool is we're really focusing on a more community outreach and making our events bigger. So with that being said, another great opportunity. And a few things that I just wanted to hit on are when you're sending an email and sending me things, please try to make them PDF. Adobe Scan is a wonderful app that you can download. Sometimes students send me pictures or they'll send me like a one-click link, and half the time I can't get into those. So if you are sending me something or a professor or anyone anything, try to make it a PDF file. Adobe Scan, cool app, you take a picture of it and it turns it into a PDF for you. When you're emailing, make sure that you remember that it is a paper trail. Address everyone you're emailing. Make sure that you are able to connect with and explain yourself with who you're connecting with about what's going on. They may not have an elephant memory, so something just to be mindful of. And also wait 2 business days before sending another email. And also pick one of my emails to send emails to. I'm getting a lot of sending it to both, which I understand gives you that reassurance, but it does create a lot of extra emails for me. And then a couple extra side notes are, I, as your advisor, only have information for your academics. I can't see your financial aid stuff. I can't see your cashier stuff. I can see if you have a hold and maybe a simple balance, but I don't know what that balance is accrued from. So make sure to keep in touch with the cashier's office and the financial aid office. And if you have any transcripts, make sure to send those to me as an unofficial and Parkside an official. If you're taking classes at Gateway, CLC, make sure to send those over. You don't want an email from me hunting you down for it. Study Buddy, a great feature on the Navigate app, so definitely check that out. And if ever you find yourself in a little bit of a pinch, make sure to check out that emergency grant funding. If you get in a car accident, if you are having issues paying your energy bill or anything like that, definitely consider filling that out. And also, you know, loop me in or loop someone in, because there are resources here to help you. I do post a lot of volunteering opportunities on my Facebook. I also will be sharing these links on my Facebook as well for Racine and Kenosha. Now that COVID numbers have been receding a little bit, more opportunities are available. So something to think about, and also checking out Handshake. That's also where a lot of campus jobs are posted. And whether you want to be a mentor or a tutor, there's a lot of opportunities for that. The Student Health and Counseling Center, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stress, and also professors, let me be real with you. I used to be scared of talking to my professors. I'll admit it. But don't be, because they are only here because of you. It is their job to help you. Every professor has open office hours. Make sure to attend those. And also, if you are in anatomy, attend those open labs. They're very, very beneficial. When you meet with me, please have your classes added into your shopping cart. If you're going to take anything away from this slide, I want it to be that. I don't want to spend our appointment trying to navigate solar. I would love to check it off and then talk to you. Come up with plans, come up with ideas, get to know you, continue out our conversation versus me just helping you register. So if you have any questions with that, I'm definitely here to help. But if you can, come to our appointment with classes added in. When I meet with you, there are questions I may ask, which will be, you know, what is an eligible GPA? What is a competitive GPA? If you're really struggling, you know, bring your workbook and let's talk and think of ways to make sure that you're not struggling in anatomy as bad. I'll always ask you what questions you have as well. So just come prepared and be ready to, you know, open up and let's be problem solvers. If you have applied to the professional major, I don't have a set date yet. I am meeting with my UWM team next week to kind of figure out and plan out the I'm in now what meetings. So by March, we are believing So March, it's this, by the third week of March, you'll find out if you were accepted into the professional major. So soon after that, you'll attend the I'm in Now What meeting. Whether you are accepted or planning to accept your place on the wait list, you will want to attend this meeting. We talk about Castle Branch. We talk about expectations for the professional major. And we also talk about essentially going over this big old packet which has everything you need to complete by August 1st, by July, including ordering scrubs, ordering your ID and all that stuff. So we'll cover all that then. So I was scheduled to have a student panelist today. I don't think she's on. Jessie Pringle, are you on or no?